Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
We have to make sure that we are continuing to deliver this message, that if you ate today, you owe that to an American farmer or rancher.
U.S. Agriculture Secretary Mike Johanns talks about the importance of the cattle industry and discusses the challenges ahead. Also, find out how the Cattle Learning Center can help improve your operation's bottom line. Plus, how one of your favorite fast food chains is breaking into the beef market in a big way.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with your host, Susie Ross.
Hello and welcome to NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Susie Ross, and I'll be here each week to bring you information that every cattle producer needs, from cattle market updates to producer education and operation tips to the latest policy news from Capitol Hill. Watching Cattleman to Cattleman is one of the best investments you can make for your operation. You know, there are so many issues that affect a cattleman's livelihood and your ability to turn a profit. Along with our great industry partners, NCBA has brought together experts from every sector of the cattle and beef industries for cattlemen. There's just no other television show like this. And what a first episode we have for you tonight. Cattleman to Cattleman goes one-on-one with Secretary of Agriculture Mike Johanns. Appointed 2 years ago by President Bush, the Secretary has faced some tough challenges during his tenure at USDA. NCBA's Government Affairs Chief Jay Truitt caught up with the Secretary to discuss some issues that are squarely on the minds of the nation's cattlemen.
Cattlemen's Capital Concerns, brought to you by Fort Dodge Animal Health, makers of Cydectin Poron and Triangle Vaccines.
If you have the chance to talk with the current Secretary of Agriculture, you'll soon discover his roots in rural America run deep. Johanns describes himself as a farmer's son with an intense passion for agriculture. I invited him to visit with me on one of our members' ranches in Aldie, Virginia. He told me growing up working the family farm in Iowa made him the man he is today.
I wish every kid in America could have that opportunity. You learn discipline, you learn commitment to purpose, you learn responsibility. You grow up pretty fast. But I tell you, that has more to do with where I am today than anything else I've ever done in my life.
After 6 years as governor of Nebraska, Johanns was sworn in as the 28th Secretary in January 2005. For more than 2 years, he served as the senior official, urging the importance of agriculture in an urban political climate.
We have to make sure that we are continuing to deliver this message, that if you ate today, you owe that to an American farmer or rancher. What I try to tell people is that all across this great nation, we have farmers that are engaged in the most noble of calling, and that's raising food products.
One of this year's biggest political issues affecting cattle producers across the nation long term is the development of the new 2007 Farm Bill. This is a major task for lawmakers and the USDA.
I can tell you in terms of our approach to farm policy, we should create the atmosphere that allows the entrepreneurial spirit of the farmer and rancher to blossom. That's what we should be creating here. We should not be creating a situation where we distort marketplaces, where we make it difficult for a farmer or rancher to succeed. We should also create that atmosphere where that next generation can look at this, look at production agriculture and say, I want to be there. And if I go there, I can support my family, I can make a living, and I can have a really good life.
Another issue we're constantly pestering Washington officials about are the long-standing bans on beef exports, lately Korea being the most frustrating.
Effectively, Korea's market is still closed. They can't have these kinds of standards and claim that they have an open market. Here's the drill. We always want to negotiate. Korea's a good trading partner. They've been a good partner in the past. They were our second largest beef market until December of '03. But we're now at a point where this is not fair. It's actually ridiculous what they're trying to do. If we can't negotiate our way through this, then I think we have to examine all other means.
I told the Secretary that some cattlemen were concerned about increasing trade with Canada.
Here's what I say to cattlemen. There's very definitely a golden rule in trade. There just is. You treat people the way you expect to be treated.
In closing, Joe Hands reiterated the importance of hearing from cattle producers across the country. He wants feedback so he can leave office knowing that he made a difference.
I want to be able to say that across rural America we made a difference. We made a difference for the people who choose rural America to live as the place where they're going to live and raise their families. And then most importantly, that we offered them an opportunity for their kids to think about that and think, this is where I want to be in my future.
Jay Truitt, NCBA's Washington, D.C. office.
Well, you heard Secretary Joe Hands talk about some tough trade issues, and they were certainly front and center at last week's Cattle Industry Convention. Cattlemen are still frustrated by South Korea's blocking of U.S. beef exports. Members reaffirmed that NCBA cannot support a free trade agreement with Korea unless this market truly reopens to U.S. beef. And the proposal to expand beef and cattle imports from Canada drew a mixed reaction from NCBA members. Cattlemen want to base trade on international guidelines, but they are concerned an influx of Canadian cattle could impact the market and disrupt trade with other export partners. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, NCBA continues its efforts to secure disaster assistance for cattlemen hit hard by recent snow and ice storms, this coming on top of several years of drought. Learn more about all the policies adopted at last week's convention by heading to our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. 2006 was a good year for most of the cattle industry. So what's ahead for 2007? Next, CattleFax Executive Vice President Randy Block stops by our studios to give us his insight for the year ahead. Plus, the Cattle Learning Center is an online resource for cattlemen to improve their operations. We'll show you how it works. And a tour of John Queen Farms in North Carolina by NCBA's new president. Stay with us. More of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman is ahead.
Fort Dodge Animal Health knows your animals are an important part of your way of life. That's why we're committed to providing you with a complete family of livestock vaccines and pharmaceuticals to protect your investments, save you time, and ensure quality and safety in your operation. Your herd and your horses are important to you. That's why they're important to us. Fort Dodge Animal Health. For more information on our entire family of livestock products, visit us online.
You can tell a lot about a cattleman by his cattle. Purina AccuRation feed with intake modifying technology gives cattle that uniform muscular look. It maximizes forage utilization and controls intake based on forage quality and cattle needs. It reduces labor, saves time, and helps cattle perform to their highest genetic potential, boosting your net return. Available in AccuRation Cattle Limiter, Super Lick, Super Block, and Impact Starter. AccuRation feeds from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Market Watch, brought to you by Pfizer Animal Health.
We're pleased to have Randy Block of CattleFax with us. Randy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Randy, 2006 was a pretty good year for cattle prices overall, but it started to soften a little bit toward the end of the year for calves and feeder cattle. What are the big factors impacting the market, and what is your outlook for 2007?
There's a lot there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that went on in 2006, but when we step back and look at it, it was still an excellent year. We ended up with calf and feeder prices the second highest they'd ever been in history. Fed cattle prices were down about $1 for the year, so they didn't change a lot. But in the fourth quarter of the year, grain prices increased substantially. Corn prices went up nearly $1 a bushel. And feeder cattle and calf prices reacted to that increase in feed costs and higher cost of gain, and they dropped considerably during the last 3 months of the year.
So corn prices are obviously affecting a wide segment of the industry. Is that something that you expect to continue over the long term?
Well, I think it is. I think when we look at this business, the corn market has been relatively cheap for the last 20 years. Corn prices have stayed in here from $1.50 to $2.50 a bushel. Now we've seen this big growth in ethanol production in the industry, and demand is outstripping supply. It's that simple. So we've ended up with one of the smallest stocks to use ratios that we've had any time the last 50 years. That would suggest that corn prices are going to stay higher for a period of time and will likely stay at these higher levels for the next 2 or 3 years. 2007, we anticipate that calf and feeder prices will be a little bit lower in 2007. Fed cattle prices will actually stay nearly the same as they've been the last 2 years, but as a result of these higher grain prices, calf and feeder cattle prices will be a little bit lower in 2007.
Okay, well, there you have it, the facts from Cattle Facts. Now let's take a look at this week's Cattle Learning Center segment. Every week our reporters will bring you information to use on your operation. But this week we wanted to introduce you to the Cattle Learning Center, what it is, how it works, and how it's taking on a new life here on this show.
The cattle industry is a business with a long history, where lessons and ideas are passed from generation to generation and shared among friends, maybe over the kitchen table, at the local vet's office, or down at the feed store. But just as the cattle industry is steeped in tradition, it also relies on cutting-edge technology and modern methods for improving the quality of beef that we produce for our customers. Building on the continuing success of Cattlemen's College, the Cattle Learning Center brings this information direct to farmers and ranchers' homes. One project that has been an extension of these meetings is the Low Stress Cattle Handling DVD, a Cattlemen's College session at both the state and national level. The idea of cowboys teaching cowboys the methods of stockmanship was turned into a 2-hour DVD training package.
3 experts were hand-picked to deliver the message: Joel Ham, Charlie Trayer, and Kurt Pate, all 3 career cowboys and full-time ranchers. And despite coming from different parts of the country and demonstrating different methods, all 3 are stockmen, and they use these techniques every day to make their living from that old cow. So watch these men work, listen to their common philosophy, and I think you'll agree. Low-stress cattle handling makes sense, dollars and cents.
But when you get outside in rough terrain, I believe the main job for the horse, for me nowadays, is I can keep my eye on all my cattle, and he can keep his eye on the footing. That's the main job of the horse, is to walk and keep out of the holes, because I believe you need to, when you're handling cattle, you need to see the whole picture.
The Cattle Learning Center, practical solutions for cattle producers.
Next week we'll get into the meat of the matter, so to speak, in our Cattle Learning Center segment. We'll show you how a ranching family won the 2007 Environmental Stewardship Award. In the meantime, check out cattlemantocattleman.org to see what else the Cattle Learning Center has to offer. When you think Boston Market, you probably think of chicken and cornbread, but now you can think beef. Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, we'll show you how the casual dining chain has found success with beef in a very big way. We'll be right back.
In 1874, an innovation changed the beef industry forever. It was called barbed wire, and it brought an end to open-range grazing and began a whole new era of cattle management. Today, there's another breakthrough innovation changing the beef industry. It's called Draxxin, and it's one more way Pfizer Animal Health is working with veterinarians and cattlemen to open up a whole new era in animal health. To learn more about Draxxin, talk to your veterinarian.
It started more than 20 years ago as an East Coast chicken restaurant, but now Boston Market is based in the Rocky Mountains and finding new and exciting ways to provide their customers with beef. Cattleman to Cattleman's Kevin Ochsner headed to the company's headquarters in Golden, Colorado to see what's cooking.
It's amazing that what began as Boston Chicken over 20 years ago has not only changed its name to Boston Market, but they began adding beef to their menu. As a matter of fact, today their roasted top sirloin product is one of their most popular menu items.
The beef sirloin entrees at Boston Market have their genesis in muscle profiling research that beef producers' checkoff dollars funded. You'll find an award-winning roasted sirloin entree and a tasty Boston sirloin carver dip. These are products that were created by a team of dedicated chefs at Boston Market's Test Kitchen in Golden, Colorado. It's something Chef Cinnamon Combs is very proud of.
Well, here in the Test Kitchen, I'm honored to lead a team of 4 chefs, and we dedicate ourselves. We're passionate about the food that we create. We want to make our guest experience something that every guest will want to come back to Boston Market more often. That's one of the reasons we went on and embarked on the sirloin, because we can eat chicken, but sirloin will give you, I know, after you've tasted our sandwich and our entree, another reason to visit Boston Market.
Chief Concept Officer Gerard Lewis says beef was just what Boston Market's valued customers were looking for.
Our customers have really asked us to put something on the menu other than the meatloaf, and they love the product. Our employees love the product, our customers love the product. In fact, all stakeholders love the product.
And that love of beef is helping to keep it on the Boston Market menu and offer more options to consumers.
Well, Cinnamon, it may be surprising to some, but us cowboys even eat things that are green every now and again. Tell us a little bit about this salad that you prepare highlighting beef.
Well, I hope you do eat lots of greens. This is our very famous Caesar salad at Boston Market. It's a really signature item for us, a signature salad. We combined romaine lettuce, croutons, crispy croutons, and a 3-cheese blend with our famous dressing.
Ah, secret recipe, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Wild horses couldn't drag it out of you.
Okay.
So we offer our guests 2 ways in our restaurant. You can take the salad as is to go, or you can have one of our team members mix it up for you, toss it for you.
Excellent.
So let's say you wanted yours tossed, and we're going to put it back into your bowl.
That's great.
And then what we do with our sirloin, any of our proteins, but our sirloin especially, we top it with that for your eating.
Aha, yeah, now that's my kind of salad.
And a little fresh lemon in case you need
a little bit of lemon on the sirloin. That looks great. And it's a chilled sirloin product here?
No, the sirloin is served hot.
It is warm.
Yes.
That's great.
Absolutely.
So with menu items ranging from sirloin entrees to sandwiches to salads, what's next for beef at Boston Market?
People love great taste. They love great texture. They love beef. And other than maybe portion sizes coming down a little bit, I see the trend for beef being just huge in the next 3 to 5 years in this country.
At Boston Market in Golden, Colorado, I'm Kevin Ochsner with Cattleman to Cattleman.
Those great new sirloin items are available now at Boston Market. Yum. Get more details on our website, cattlemantocattleman.org. He says he never expected to be president of an association like NCBA, but now John Queen is working hard to recruit new members.
If you've got 5 cows or you have 5,000, each one of you have 1 vote. Cattle can't vote.
Hear more from NCBA's new president and find out how he's transitioned his business and preserved his land for agriculture.
Agriculture is a small portion of the population now, and if we're not working together, we're not going to get anywhere.
As our family, we cannot be in Washington, D.C. all the time, and I just couldn't live without NCBA representing.
They're looking out for our interests. They're there fighting for us every day.
If you got 1 cow or 2 cows or 100 cows, you need to be a member.
I'm a member of the NCBA because a long time ago, 35 years ago, I felt that I needed to know more of what my industry is doing. So I got started at the county level. If you're in the cattle industry, now's the time to join and let your voice be heard loud and clear.
You need NCBA working for you, and NCBA needs you. It's easy to join. Just call, get online, or talk with your state affiliate and sign up today.
Every week, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman will introduce you to a producer and their operation. Today, we introduce you to John Queen. He's a fourth-generation cattle producer in North Carolina and was recently elected the 2007 president of NCBA.
Our family farm was founded here in 1917 by my grandfather. He farmed it all his life and passed it on to my dad at a later date. My dad did the same to me. I became a partner here in this farm in 1968. Of course, I had to work as a child and a kid all along until that time came about. But we're here in the mountains of western North Carolina. We love these mountains, we love this land, and love to see it preserved forever if at all possible.
John is making history as he becomes one of only 3 southeastern producers to lead NCBA in its more than 100-year history. But his roots run deep in the cattle business.
And most of them were the old Herefords, old horned Herefords, and then we got into the Shorthorns, and then the Charolais crosses with the Shorthorns. We had a good friend in Florida that had the Charolais bulls, and we had the first Charolais in North Carolina that we crossed with commercial cows here in the mountains, and that was back in the early 60s. After we started crossing with Charolais, then we started using black bulls in our herd, and we were a cow-calf operator until about 1981. I got into the sale barn business in 1979, and we sold the cow herd that had been in our family since the early 1800s in 1981. From that point forward, we've been a backgrounder or a preconditioner of sorts here in the mountains.
John Queen Farms is located in Waynesville, North Carolina. Waynesville borders the beautiful Appalachian Mountains in the western part of North Carolina.
Excellent part of the country to raise cattle in. We have good climate here. We have no severe hot days and really no severe cold days. One of the biggest treats I used to have was Granddad and Dad come get us out of school, and I'd get to bring some of my friends with me, and we get to lay out of school and drive cattle to the mountain pasture, and that was a big treat back then. We get up here to the Cataloochee Ranch area. It's a 1,000-acre boundary on a mountain opposite from where my ancestors used to graze cattle. We still graze cattle today. This large boundary was the first ski area in eastern America. But like the Cataloochee Ranch that we graze, they've put it in conservation easement. Part of the properties around our farms have been placed in conservation easements. We even have a conservation easement through our farm here along the streams that we've given away. And it's just one of those things you have to do to preserve the land, is to give away the developmental rights. Age and source verified, gentlemen. Reputation cattle. Any further questions? We do have a video telemarket sale that we operate here out of our farm once a month. As a matter of fact, today we just had our December sale. So excellent opportunity for marketing cattle. Excellent part of the country to raise cattle in. Oh, I'm very excited about becoming president of NCBA. You know, as I grew up and when I joined the association, I never ever dreamed of being an officer in this association. But as years have gone by and the more involved I've become with the board of directors and in the committees and certainly within my relationship with the 8 states here in my region, it's just become a real challenge that I'm excited about. We're a nation of small producers, and over the years we have not participated. And we're at a point now that the small producers, as many of them as there are in the country, need to voice their opinion, and they have the same right as the large producer. And with those voices coming together, multitudes of voices, then we're heard when we go to Washington, D.C. So that's what we need to work for at NCBA. Increased membership, increased grassroots participation, increased speaking for ourselves to our congressmen and senators.
We'd also love to see your operation. Each week, we hope to feature pictures from our cattlemen viewers to highlight your farm or ranch, your family, and the beauty of our country. We've already received some photos, so let's take a look. And again, we'd love to see what your operation looks like, so send us your digital pictures to c2c@beef.org and on our website, cattlemantocattleman.org, where you can see more photos from around the country, plus get details about our upcoming shows. Next week, we'll have highlights from the 2007 Beef Industry Annual Convention. Plus, for all of you men out there who would be chefs, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. And on next week's show, we'll have a great last-minute beef recipe you can make to impress your sweetheart. Those stories, plus the latest news and market headlines. Thanks so much for joining us for our first episode of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. Be sure to join us next week. A new episode airs every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on RFD TV.